we need to find the domain and range for this graph, and then notice the answer needs to be written in interval notation. Okay, so domain R represents the x values of the graph. So which x values does it have? And then the range represents the y values. One way I remember that is D comes before R in the alphabet and X comes before Y. So domain has to go with X, range has to go with Y. When we write this, we want to really label them separately. So I'm going to have one spot here for domain and one spot for range. When I'm looking at domain, I imagine I have like a ruler that's going up and down on the graph from left to right. And so then I can see where it starts, where the x values start as I scroll over, scroll towards the right, and then I can see where it ends. So as I look at this graph, if I have my imaginary ruler up and down and I'm scrolling from left to right, I see my first point on domain then would be where x equals -1. And since I want to write from least to greatest, I'll start with -1. I notice it's a closed circle at -1, so that tells me it includes it, so it needs to be a bracket. And then as I continue to scroll with my imaginary ruler from left to right, I can see I'm going to scroll, 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 and the graph will end where x equals 3. Now in this case, it's an open circle at 3, and so it will just be a parenthesis here. So there's my domain. Now with range, I do similarly. I imagine a ruler, but from this one, I have my ruler going along the horizon. So it's like flat down on this ground here. I'm going to be going from the bottom up to the top. So as I scroll from the bottom, I can see my first point is going to be where y equals -5. Okay, that's where it starts. Now this is, again, an open circle, so it's not including 5, so that tells me I need to do a parenthesis there. I continue to go up with my ruler, my imaginary ruler, and I can see the last point is going to be right here at 4. Now because it's a solid line there, that tells me it's including 4, and so I would have a bracket there. So that's our domain and range, our x values in the graph and our y values.